The Department of Commerce launched the Capital Readiness Program grant competition right before Christmas on the 21st. Now, this dedicates $93.5 million to help minority and other underserved communities grow and scale. The scale is the part I'm excited about, their businesses. And here to discuss is Deputy Commerce Secretary Don Graves, back with us on the record. Hi. First, Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year. So good to be back with you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk always about money, especially money that is going to help underserved Black and Brown communities. I'm reminded of a quote from then Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen during an MLK event on January the 17th. And she said that, quote, "From Reconstruction to Jim Crow to the present day, our economy has never worked fairly for Black Americans, or really for any American color." That's why this interview I'm excited to talk about, because it's talking about money going to those communities. 93.5 million makes this one of the largest programs of its kind in history. Talk about it, and also how it addresses some of the major issues: inability to access finance and lack of human capital and things like that.
Well, Ebony, you talked about it and made the point that the key part of this is scale up. We know that for underserved businesses, particularly for Brown and Black businesses, the challenge is having that support system, the ecosystem, if you will, that allows the businesses to scale up over time. It's not just about having a good idea. It's about making sure that you have the know-how, that your company is situated in a place where you're able to grow, that you have the access to credit and capital over time that you need. And that's what this program is all about. The Capital Readiness Program, $93.5 million, is dedicated on building that ecosystem. So this is not specifically dollars going to the entrepreneurs themselves. It's going to the organizations across the country that are supporting the entrepreneurs. So those organizations that work with entrepreneurs, that the incubators, the accelerators, that will allow our entrepreneurs to be more successful going forward.
Let's kind of break that down, because we're not talking necessarily about money particularly, but they're getting tools, they're getting resources. Who qualifies? So someone's listening, they're like, I want to apply for this grant competition, this program. Who are you looking for?
So let me back it up just a little bit. This is part of an overall program, the State Small Business Credit Initiative, SSBCI. It's a $10 billion program that is providing credit and capital, the financing that you mentioned, to entrepreneurs. But we know that financing you can't just throw it out there and expect that businesses are going to be able to take the dollars and build a successful business. This ecosystem isn't always there, particularly for communities of color. So what we're doing is providing the $93.5 million to organizations, the accelerators and incubators across the country that have deep experience working directly with minority businesses, with women-owned businesses, with veteran-owned businesses. The key here is giving them the infrastructure, the capacity, so that they can serve a broader network of these underserved businesses, and giving them the support that they need, so that we can help scale up these minority and women-owned businesses.
Okay, so if I am an educational institution or a nonprofit or a church or for-profit, if I'm in the community helping that community in the areas of entrepreneurship, then those are the people that you're looking for that will help then create business or work with businesses in the community to help them scale.
That's exactly right. And we're very focused on also providing childcare. We know that for so many of our underserved businesses, particularly our entrepreneurs of color, access to adequate childcare is a huge problem, because especially you think about African American women, that is one of the biggest barriers to them having a successful career, especially growing a business, is the lack of childcare. So part of this grant program is ensuring that as these organizations roll out their incubators and accelerators, that they're also providing the childcare that's necessary to these entrepreneurs so that they can expand their business, so they have the comfort that their kids are being well cared for and they can focus on their business.
Now, it's called Capital Readiness Program. How long is this program? When can people apply? What is there an end date or when they can apply?
Great question. It's open right now. All you need to do if you're an organization or a company that is interested in running one of these accelerators or incubators is go to mbda.gov, Minority Business Development Agency, mbda.gov, and the grant application is open until February 28th. So still have about a month and a half left to apply, but
all throughout Black History Month. So
we need to make sure that all those organizations that are supporting Black businesses are able to apply for this funding. We want to get these dollars out the door, though, as quickly as possible. So you can front end your application, get it in as soon as possible. It allows us to start processing more quickly. How
many different entities do you think that will be able to qualify, or that you are looking forward to target to get into this program?
Well, we expect that there'll be dozens of organizations across the country that will be able to take advantage of this program. And the great thing is they'll be able to partner with our business centers. The Minority Business Development Agency has business centers in every state around the country. So we expect that they'll be able to partner together to create a more vibrant network in just about every community in the country, especially communities that are heavily underserved communities that are overrepresented, if you will, by communities of color.
About how much will each get? How much can they get? Is there a threshold that they can apply for?
It'll depend on the number of applications that we get.
Okay.
And obviously, $93.5 million sounds like a lot of money, but when you're thinking about all of the communities across this country and
right.
That's not going to go very far. But that's why it's so important that it's part of this broader set of programs that we have, the $10 billion program that I mentioned earlier, and also this network that the Minority Business Development Agency is building with their business centers. So the thing that folks didn't pay attention to when the bipartisan infrastructure law passed, which is providing trillions of dollars to support infrastructure across the country, like fixing our water systems for our communities, it made permanent for the very first time in history this Minority Business Development Agency in the federal government, the single agency at the federal level whose whole focus is ensuring the success, the long-term growth and support for minority businesses across the country. So we now have MBDA as this agency that is the one-stop shop, the portal for entrepreneurs, for those interested in supporting minority and underserved businesses to go to access the vast resources of the federal government.
Wonderful. Two last questions. The Treasury Department allocated, and all this is coming out of American Rescue Plan dollars, $100 million. So what is going on with the rest of that? Because this is 93.5. What about the rest of that? What happens to the remaining?
The rest of those dollars are actual capital and credit support programs. So during the Obama administration, we had created this SSBCI program, $1.5 billion, that was really successful in getting to minority and women-owned businesses, getting them the capital and credit they needed. We now have $10 billion, or most of that $10 billion, to provide that credit and capital in a range of different ways to these underserved entrepreneurs. So, like I said, the $93.5 million, that portion of the $10 billion, is really ensuring that the ecosystem is there and is strong and is able to is ready to take the rest of that $10 billion to provide the credit and capital that minority businesses and other underserved businesses need.
Wonderful. Lastly, is there anything else that for business owners or those looking to get into business that they need to know about coming up on the horizon of 2023? Anything that we can expect coming out of this department? And then where can people go to find out all the information that they need?
Well, I will say go to mbda.gov. Again, that is or to commerce.gov. Those sites have great resources. There are a lot of things that are coming out of the administration and especially out of the Department of Commerce. As I said, we had the bipartisan infrastructure law. We're spending trillions of dollars to build the nation's infrastructure in a more resilient way, which includes nearly $50 billion from the Commerce Department to ensure that every community in the country, every household has access to high-speed internet. And the great thing is that we are very focused on making sure that minority businesses are participating in that, not just that they're getting access to high-speed internet, but they're actually the ones who are delivering that internet, that they are laying the fiber, that they are the internet service providers. So making sure that minority businesses are participating in all of the infrastructure dollars, in the CHIPS and Science Act dollars to build new semiconductors across the country, in the Inflation Reduction Act, which is building a more resilient and sustainable economy and country, that minority businesses aren't just getting the dregs, but they're actually at the table from day one, participating, getting contracting opportunities, and driving the economy forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Secretary Graves. You know, you're always welcome, and AURN would love to have you back and talk more about how this is progressing, especially after the date, and someone with MBDA also to come on and talk with us. So thank you so much for coming on the record with AURN.
Ebony, always good to be with you. Anytime that you're willing to have me, I'm willing to come back.
Don't say that. So, all right, so take care.
You too. Take care.